Greetings everyone, this is Alt Lexington on Monday the 19th of August 2019 at about 1:30 PM. Today I'm going to show you my Husnock Warship. There it is. And make no mistake, this is a D.P.S build, although it may not seem like that in my hands. Yes, I've copied the D.P.S build that a lot of people were using for a while. It's probably out of date now. But this was the very first ship that I got 100k using cannons and turrets. However, I'm not really a fan of this build because I find it way too squishy. This ship dies at the drop of a hat in any match at any time. It is extremely squishy. In fact, if anyone was to copy this build, I'd suggest they use a friend with a good tank build accompanying them, which I haven't got. Anyway, let's have a look at what we've got on the ship. Basically, it's coalition cannons with a Terran task force disruptor thrown in, a coalition turret, a biomolecular turret from the Undying Reputation, and a Krieger Wave disruptor turret. The Krieger Wave is on there because it allows my weapons to have better drain. It's a 2.5% chance plus 25 drain and control expertise, and I believe that will affect all of the weapons on the ship. That's why the Krieger Wave is here, even though I haven't upgraded it. The Undying weapon is here for its accuracy. I believe that will help all weapons, and accuracy is always good with cannons and turrets. But also because of the two-piece set, because I've got it on with its console that gives extra disruptor damage, and if I go to the two-piece, 7.5 bonus phaser disruptor and plasma and tetrion damage, plus 2% chance for the biomolecular incubation debuff. So this kind of throws germs at the enemy as well when it's with its two-piece. Well, its two-piece increases the amount that the chance that it will throw germs at the enemy along with its energy. I've got the colony deflector array for its critical severity plus 15% and critical chance plus 4%. I've got two pieces of the Nukara Reputation set, the engines and the shields, and if I go to the two-piece on there, you can see that it's 5% bonus energy weapon damage. And the Terran warp core, because it's just a good warp core that helps your subsystem power mostly. Well, for me it does. Timeline stabilizer for my cooldowns, even though I'm not really using it. It helps tactical team to cool down quicker, but I don't think I really need it on this ship. Red matter capacitor for a good power level boost when my power levels go down, which I don't really need again. And energy amplifier batteries from the R&D beam school. They're better than the normal weapon batteries, because the weapon batteries give you more power, for your weapons to consume, whereas these batteries give you more damage inflicted by your weapons. So it's either a choice between weapon power with the standard batteries or weapon strength with these batteries. From the Lobi store, we've got the binaural infusion circuits with the plus 25% crit severity. And we have timeline stabilizer. I believe it came from an event ship, a Krenim ship. I can't remember what it's called, but it looks like a rocket. And this gives Science Bridge Officer cooldowns, but mostly it's there for the clicky that gives firing cycle haste. 30%, that's quite a lot. Down here we've got Disruption Pulse Emitter, which fires a pulse of energy from the front of your ship every now and then when it's cooled down. And Dynamic Power Redistribution Module, or DPRM, which gives you 11.3 damage resistance, which is like a piece of armor. Plus it gives 19% directed energy damage, which extra firepower is great. But the two of these pieces are part of the same set, and it's a 4-piece set, but because I'm using 2 pieces, I only get the first bonus from that set, which is 33% disruptor damage. Also, I have Spire Vulnerability Locators, which increase standard damage and critical chance. And these increase your firepower by a great deal, and I don't normally use them these days, because I don't usually need firepower that much these days. I don't D.P.S chase as much as I used to. But I do sometimes still. Now these two consoles, Miradon sensor bafflers and heavy particle focus arrays, they're both from the same set, because this Husnock Warship is paired with the Miradon radar. So they have a shared console set together. This one from the Miradon radar gives 1.5 critical chance and plus 10 points of defense rating, but when you click its button it will give you plus 15% critical chance for 20 seconds and plus 33% critical severity for 20 seconds. Plus it can placate a foe. And this console comes with this ship, 12.8% directed energy damage and 11.3 energy damage resistance. In fact, it's very similar to this console. And its clicky does electrical damage though. And because they're part of the same set, you get a bonus. 25 Starship hull penetration is mostly what I've got it for, but you also get electrical damage and recharge speed for the other console, the Miradon one. The mastery is complete with the trait that is directed energy flux. We'll talk about that in a minute because I am using it. As you can see, the hull is pretty poor, the shields are pretty poor, and the resistances are terrible. We've got accuracy, it's not that great, but we're not in PvP. Critical chance is very high, 28.4%, and critical severity is very high, 143.3%. However, it's not as high as what some people have because I haven't done any of my endeavours. Well, I've collected the points, I just haven't put them in yet. So that's why it's not as high as some people. Plus this build is no longer one of the current metas, I don't believe anymore. Not the way I've got it done anyway. I'm sure this build was a meta at one time, but I'm sure it's been updated since, because this is probably a little out of date, since I don't keep up with the metas these days. Hull penetration, critical chance, science skills, the two important ones, control effects, really piss poor. And drains, really piss poor. And it's got a few sciencey abilities on this ship, but I don't have any science skill in my skill tree, so it's not really that beneficial on my particular skill tree. And not much survivability either. Hull maximum hit points. And the speed and the turn rate isn't that great. Although I found in combat the turn rate, it may not be that great, but it's good enough. As you can see in my skill tree, it's tactical ultimate with a bit of engineering thrown in and long range targeting sensors, but no exotic skills. That's why all the exotics on this ship aren't going to benefit me much. But I still put auxiliary power high, just for what little it can do. But there's also another reason I put auxiliary high, and we'll get to that. Traits. For space traits, cannon training, accuracy, more accuracy for the cannons, a bit of survivability, even though it makes no real difference on this ship, because when you're flying this ship solo, it's gonna die. It's plain and simple. No matter how well I pilot it, it'll die. It's pretty much guaranteed. This ship is so squishy, it's pretty much guaranteed that it will die repeatedly. Which makes you wonder, why is it really worth having this much firepower if you can't get that firepower to the enemy before you die? Self-modulating fire for shield penetration. Up close, point blank shot. That means my weapon damage will increase if I get closer to the target, which I rarely do because I'm too much of a coward to get too close. Critical chance, critical severity, that's not much, but it's better than nothing. Minus threat generation, essential, even though it doesn't really make much a difference when you're inflicting this much firepower. And fleet coordinator for team matches. Firing cycle haste. Now this one is a bit of an oddity, because fire at will or cannon scatter volley empower beam overload and cannon rapid fire. So the multiple target abilities empower the single target abilities. Therefore, I've got beam fire at will down here, even though I'm not using beams, because every time I hit it, it will empower rapid fire for my cannons. If I had scatter volley here, yes, it would empower rapid fire, but after scatter volley had finished its cycle. But since beam fire at will can't complete a cycle because there's no beams on this ship, it won't interfere with rapid fire too much. So my cannons will continue with rapid fire and not be affected by a scatter volley. because this is a single target build. So beam fire at will is here, even though I'm not using beams, but it's just there to empower rapid fire, because this trait will enable it to do so. I don't know, that's pretty confusing, but it works. That's why I've also included Supremacy, which is normally for fire at will and scat volley, even though I've got a single target rapid fire build. But because I'm using beam fire at will, then I'll get the Supremacy power boost. Directed energy flux buffs rapid fire, and cold-hearted debuffs the enemy. For space traits, crit chance, crit severity, anyone who's using sciencey control effects, any other team member, not me, will boost my firepower. Armor penetration, and a bit more shield penetration. And for active space, I've just got mostly the space ones. A temporary cloak, a good decoy, an anti-time bubble, a healing bubble, and the chaining Tetrion damage. So this is a temporal operative command ship, I believe. Is that command? Yes, it's a temporal operative command ship. So I've got 2 temporal operative abilities on here. This is a Romulan operative, so he has the superior Romulan operative trait, and he's carrying fire at will just for the trait and for supremacy, just to trigger this trait's effect on rapid fire. So fire at will triggers this trait's effect on rapid fire. Ha! But fire at will also triggers this trait. So that's why he's got fire at will, even though he's not using beams. Just to trigger the 2 traits. Entropic redistribution fires a little ball of energy at the enemy that does physical damage. There's the rapid fire. And recursive shearing. This is a very powerful ability that depletes your enemy's hull and deals physical damage, I believe, if memory serves. Another Romulan superior operative with a debuff, attack pattern beta, chemosight for the radiation damage adds to your weapons, and tactical team to put my best shields between me and the target. Now, if we look at one of these officers' traits, you can see what the Romulan superior operative trait does. Critical chance and critical severity, and cloaking doesn't really apply, even though I've got a temporary cloak on this ship. For engineer, I've gone with a Nausicaan again. And if we look, he's got a space trait pirate for bonus damage. Now we've got holographic Ohora, because she's got 2 traits: standard human leadership for humans with a space trait, and tactician for improved energy weapon damage and kinetic weapon damage. We've got emergency power to engines because this ship is a little bit slow. Although I find I very rarely click it. I could replace it for a hull heal, like engineering team, I suppose. And this is an Orcs to Bat build, hence why I said I've put auxiliary power high, despite my sciencey abilities not being that great. That's because Orcs to Bat will feed all my auxiliary engine energy into this green battery here, so that my weapons will have more green to feed into the orange when the orange depletes. Meaning my weapons will last longer. And emergency power to weapons 1. Because on an Orcs to Bat build, I wanted better Orcs to Bat, so instead of putting emergency power to weapons 3, I put 1 on. Because I wanted a better Orcs to Bat. And because you need 2 of them, and you can't put an Orcs to Bat in the first ensign slots. And you need 2 so you can chain them together and keep them going as much as possible. And the lowest rank only comes in the lieutenant slot. And the only other slot on this ship is the lieutenant commander. Now, cannon scatter volley up here. Cannon rapid fire up here, and recursive shearing 2. I was planning to upgrade this to recursive shearing 3. In fact, I might be able to do that now, because it's been a while since I've done this build. Where is it? Sulu skills. He's supposed to be temporal operative. Now we should be able to change that to recursive shearing 3. Nope, I haven't got it on this character. That's why I haven't got recursive shearing 3 here. But I wanted recursive shearing above rapid fire. I could have put rapid fire 3 here, but I wanted recursive shearing because it's a very powerful ability and it seems more beneficial than just rapid fire 3, especially if I plan to upgrade it to recursive shearing 3. This is difficult to explain. And we have my hierarchy officer here. Where is he? There he is. We'll look at his traits. Efficient and pirate. I've gone with the hull heal and destabilizing resonance beam for physical to reduce. Oh god, I can't remember how it works now. It's for reducing the resistances on the enemy and its various other abilities. So there's hardly any heals on this ship, so it's extremely squishy. But I've sacrificed firepower for. I've sacrificed survivability for firepower. That's why it's squishy. You really do need a friend with a tank when you're running this ship with this build. I'm sure there's an updated version that's a bit better, but this is what I've got, and it's been a long time since I've flown it, aside from the last couple of days where I've been giving it a try. And for duty officers, we've got the Neil Falconer he's a ground officer, but he works in space as well. And for my space officers, I've got increased damage versus Borg, because if it's a D.P.S ship, you're going to be fighting Borg. Crit chance, extra crit chance, but it's not. It doesn't look like much until you realise it stacks 3 times and there's a 4% chance. And it's percentage, not +1, it's +1%. And critical severity, the same again, but more. And 3 technicians for my orcs to bat. So every time I hit orcs to bat, my bridge officer power cooldowns are reduced. Hang on a minute, is that right? Yeah. I'm not explaining myself very well again. But there's my orcs to bat, these 2 on my keybind. All these are on my keybind. Tray 10 and tray 9 are all triggered by my keybind, including the energy amplifiers, the most important energy amplifiers for D.P.S. Privateer weapon module, that's from the 2 consoles, one that came with this ship, one that comes with the Miradon. 700-day veteran because they've been around a while. And biomolecular instability from the Undyne turret and its console. My weapon power 125 and my auxiliary power 89. I pushed weapon power all the way up to the top, locked it with these locks, and then I pushed auxiliary up as high as it would go and locked that, and then these 2 I just left where they fell and locked and save. That's DPRM there, pulse emitter, timeline stabilizer, recursive shearing, fire at will, destabilizing beam, entropic redistribution, and this one, heavy particle focuser. I believe that is from the 2-piece Miradon if memory serves. Let me have a look again. Yeah. And it does electrical damage. For me, this build doesn't really make a lot of sense because I've got no exotic ability in my skill tree, and it's very squishy to me. It's just a copy of someone else's build, other people's that I've seen on various other people I've seen using it, and I just wanted to give it a try. And when I first gave it a try months and months ago, perhaps even a year ago, I got my first 100k with cannon turrets, and I've only done it twice, that first time and another time again. The rest of the time it just dies. Those were 2 extremely lucky runs. So for me this dies. I should really look at it and personalise it from my skill tree. But I haven't looked at it to do that because I haven't been a fan of this build very much due to its squishiness. It'd take a lot to sort it out, I think, for me. I'm sure there are better pilots out there who know exactly how to use this build properly, but that's not me. Anyway, let's do a couple of system patrols on advanced setting, and then we'll do a couple of TFOs, task force operations. So I think the first one we'll do is our Gala system, I believe it's called, in the Delta Quadrant. This ship, it does rip through the enemies very easily, but I can't seem to keep it alive with the current build. I'll have to update it a bit maybe to get it to stay alive, but that will probably mean sacrificing some of its DPS. I'm not going to run the combat meter just yet. I think I'll end the video with an ISA and it'll be potluck whether I survive it or not. Because I haven't been in the last couple of days. In fact, I've done a couple of high advanced and I died 3 or 4 times in that. Sometimes even 5. So as I say, I'm not a fan of this build. I do like the ship though, just not the build, because it's just something thrown together to copy someone else. But then we all copy each other's builds. Okay. Benthans! You have no idea what's coming to join you. It is very satisfying when it does rip through the enemies, I must admit that. Although it's very overpowered. Wait till the rapid gets going. Alright then, don't get going. See the numbers coming off? They're quite high. I've just been deputized. Alright, slow down. I find sometimes it takes a while for the cannons to realise what you want them to do. They sometimes don't fire straight away when you hit the fire button. See what I mean? I mean, there's no need for this much firepower in this match. That's why I'm not clicking half of the things I could be clicking. I'm a bit more of a relaxed player these days, I think. And that's because I haven't been D.P.S chasing as much as I did in the past. Got to pick up my loot because the captain needs to get paid. Starfleet don't give me nothing. There's a bit of a lack out this morning with pressing these abilities. Every now and then, cannon rapid fire really pops high. Any blast, even one that small, can damage this thing. Well, see the lag spike there. I think this ship itself creates a lot of lag. That's the boss down already. Come on, target the right one. Auto fire. I suppose my mood is a bit down today because of lack of sleep again. But hey, it's a Husnock. Everybody loves a good Husnock except maybe me. Nah, it's probably just because of my mood today that I'm not keen on it. I did like it when I used it several months ago, maybe a year ago. But that's because it was new to me and a novelty. Anyway. That's patrol number 1, Margala against the Kazon. My favourite place to fly this is in Khitomer Vortex, I think. Because that's, you get time between targets in that match. Alright, we'll go up to Sakari system and fight the automated personnel units. Yeah, I don't really ever have fun if I find a ship too squishy. That's why I don't fly my Vengeance too much, because when I max it out for as much firepower as I'm able to do, it's just too squishy. I like a ship that survives on its own without a tank. Trouble is, when you copy other people's builds from the internet, you find that they always seem to be running with a friend who's a tank. I prefer a good standalone build that has some survivability and can adapt to any kind of environment, not just Borg. No offense to those people who run with tanks, of course. I mean, some people get their fun from hanging with friends, but I'm more of a solo player. So I don't usually have a tank with me. Yeah, it's taking a while to load this. Oh yeah, I forgot to show, we are on advanced setting. As you can see, oh yep, you can see this as well. The 2 bars. Alright, so it's scan. Scan. I often slow down to a full stop in this build or do some reversing because I'm not using pedal to the metal. I haven't got anchored on this build or anything, it's just that I'm not using pedal to the metal so I don't have to stay at full speed. Oh god, why would that come in now, pop up like that? That's the first robot group, now the second group. Who are you? Yep, blah blah blah. And we'll destroy the core so no side gets them. That way I have to fight both groups. Okay guys, who wants to attack me first? Why am I going so slow? Oh god, I shouldn't be making a video when I'm this sleepy. It affects my mood. It makes me see things in a negative light, but please forgive me for that. I was hoping this video would be a bit happier. But at least you get to see the build, eh? Oh, they often shoot me after they're dead. I've noticed that on this build. Things die so quickly that they forget that they can't shoot me because they're already dead. Any more? Any more want to take me on, robots? I don't think so, somehow. Not now, I've got to pick up my loot. There we go. So that was Sakari system. Now we can do the TFOs. I think I'll start with the ISA, so you can watch me die instead of getting 100k like this ship is capable of sometimes. Which means I've got to do the combat meter / combat. Oh, I got logged out earlier, so I've got to switch the system on in order to type in the one. And we'll leave it there. And make sure everything is hunky-dory before we go in. Put on some more amplifiers just in case. Check the loadout, yep. Okay, we can queue for ISA now and hope it pops quick. Although there are some big D.P.S playing it this morning, I noticed. I saw someone earlier doing 290k, sorry. And I thought, what the hell? It was over in about 70 seconds. So there we are, queued for advanced ISA. Is there any other kind? No, it'd be ISN if it wasn't advanced. So I suppose I could just fly about a bit until that pops. If it takes too long, I'll edit a bit out of the video. If I can figure out how. I wonder, did I put a visual shield on this? I think I did. Yes, it's the counter command shield, the Undyne shield. It's a vanity shield only, and the Argeus engine, just for the appearance. Well, ISA has been popping really quickly all morning, just not now, for some reason. And I've also noticed that when I go into the match, it's already started, even though they've added a new timer on it. So if I go to the actual... Oh, there we go, here we go, here we go. Hopefully. We'll see if we survive, or if there's a big D.P.S-er in there who hides the fact that this ship is so squishy. I should really update this build to make it less squishy, but I don't play it often enough, to be honest. Here we go. Get ready to start the combat meter. Oh, there's a vengeance. Uh-oh. Combat meter active. Excuse me. 5 seconds. It's not firing. Get ready to fly off. Well, that just killed my D.P.S. It's my fault. I didn't see the other target there. Hang on, get the right target. I'll let everybody else take care of the generators because I'm too slow to do that. Come on, fly! Lag! I put out the healing bubble there because I got well nervous. Because I know this thing is extremely squishy. Come on, fire! Reverse too much now. This would be an ideal team on any other D.P.S field. Or if I was in a better mood. Now come on, let's put a bit of cloak on now. And this is where I die. Now why did I hit emergency power to engines just then? I can't figure that out. Who scattered these spears about? Oh, just go for the gate. Oh, there's one down there. I'm amazed I'm still alive. And I bet half of you, any big D.P.S are watching is probably as amazed as I am. Right, combat meter / combat log 0. Was that a 0? I hope so. I'm starting to giggle a bit because I'm actually survived an ISA. I didn't do good D.P.S, but I survived. I think there was somebody in there helping. I don't know how or why, but I think somebody in there was helping. Not somebody I know or somebody I planned for or anything, because I fly solo pugs, but I don't know how I survived. Maybe I was just miserable because and down on this build because I wasn't surviving the last couple of days. Because I didn't get lucky with teammates like I just did. Anyway, before we look at the DPS number, let's just warp out so we don't get kicked out halfway through. So this that was surprising. Now let's analyze first. Analyze, please wait. 95k. Wow. Holy cow, so close. I nearly give you the 100k that I really was hoping for. But if you look at the other team members, 26, 25, 26, 12, I'm surprised with team I survived, but they did take some of the attacks in. Oh, there was no real tank in there. I'm even more surprised now. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. If I'd maybe if I wasn't recording or commentating and I was paying a little bit more attention, I'd taken the time to understand this build a little better, I could have got that 100k, I reckon. So this ship is still capable of getting 100k, even though it's a bit out of date with the way I've done it and a bit confusing. But 95, I'm pleased with that. Very pleased, in fact. I mean, look at the power spike straight down. And it slowly climbs at the end a little. Big mark at the end when the cube goes up, I suppose. No, that's probably on the gate more than the cube. Max 1 hit is usually from recursive shearing on this ship, and 379,000, 40% crit rate. So that's not bad at all. I might turn around on this build and give up my bad mood and start saying it's good. Because it, within the last few days, I did have a very good board disconnected run. I did die once, but it was just ripping through enemies. So that was fun. So maybe it was just my mood this morning that made me rag on this build. 18 kills, that's more than the 5 I got earlier. Target debuff 131, that's not bad at all. I'm generally surprised that this worked out. 31k from the coalitions on rapid fire 2. What did recursive shearing do? That was the max 1 hit from recursive shearing. Pets didn't do too bad, but did I get fleet support off? No, I think it was Delta reinforcements. Now, Tetrion Cascade, with refracting Tetrion Cascade, that usually does better on my builds, but on this one I must have got it off at the wrong time, so it was the lowest. And Gravity Well would have come from one of my pets. Resonance Beam didn't really do much. Entropic Redistribution, Molecular. Yeah, I can see a few changes I could make to this build. to make it a little less. For one, I might get rid of Orcs to Bat. Because in my experience on my skill tree and my flying style, Orcs to Bat doesn't really make a lot of difference. It's a little bit more firepower, but not enough to warrant sacrificing what could be put on these stations instead, which is survivability. So, let's try Khitomer. This is where this ship is most fun to fly when doing team matches. Khitomer Vortex. I haven't queued for randoms because I wanted to do some Borg and I wanted to make sure that it was specific matches, because I didn't want to find myself in, say, the Gamma Quadrant's The Swarm, where I've got lots of Herc on my tail. Not in this ship. Not in a slow single target build, although I did do that yesterday and it performed pretty well considering, but most of my kills came from the turrets because of the Herc being behind me and I couldn't turn in time. Yep, but for now we'll do a Khitomer Vortex. This will be the last one. So it's a nice quick video on a ship that I was miserable about when I woke up. But that ISA just turned it all around. No longer miserable. And also I've been drinking my coffee, so I'm starting to wake up a bit. Come on Khitomer, you've been popping well all morning. Hive Onslaught popped all morning as well. I mean, I think there was a big D.P.S, couple of D.P.S friends, big ones, big D.P.S friends, doing the Borg rounds this morning. So they were popping like crazy, and I did see that ISA earlier on today where somebody did 290k. I thought, my god. I think he was in, what's that new big Vardwar ship? Either he was in that or that was his tank friend. But they both did pretty damn good. I bet he was going for his 300k and slightly missed it, which is annoying when that happens. Anyway, let's see if we can get to the sphere before Khitomer pops, so we can see what my weapon damage is down here. We need to be in local space for that, not sector. See the Argeus engines do that nice effect. I wanted 2 engines on the back. When I put the Argeus on, I thought I'd get 2 nice streams coming out of the back, but this ship only seems to have 1. Enter Janolan sphere. Hope I don't crash on the surface and have to suspend myself in a transporter beam. Now I'm recording, Khitomer won't pop, will it? Oh yes, I came here to let my build settle a moment so we could see the numbers on the Coalition Disruptors. 3,173.9 disruptor damage. And on the Terran Task Force, 3,300. On the Coalition Turret, 1,100. Biomolecular not upgraded, 1,200. And Krieger not upgraded, not quite 1,000. And that Krieger one, it isn't part of any special set, it's just a standard Krieger disruptor. I think the Kriegers went with the Miradon Raider. I better put on another 5 energy amplifiers while I'm at it, while I'm just sitting here. So I've got a nice stack of 20 waiting, and I can make sure that my loadout's still saved. I have died a couple of times in Khitomer on this ship. This ship does die a heck of a lot. That's probably while I was feeling a bit down and bad about it this morning when I first started this video. But now I'm starting to... That ISA has turned my mood around. It was so close to 100k that it kind of proves that this build is capable of doing the highly sought after triple digit D.P.S. The golden number. Okay, exit Janolan Sphere and just fly around a bit and hope Khitomer pops. You see, but that, or I'll have to edit out a bit of this video. I would do a patrol, but that might knock me out of Khitomer, might it? I don't know. And I don't want to loading screens just in case Khitomer does come up and I'm keeping the team waiting, or I get into the match late. It's funny, it's been popping all morning, but not anymore. I guess that D.P.S team got their 300. Or their buffs run out. Not that I'm not using any buffs on this ship at the moment, because I have a stack of 22 buff duty officer assignments that I could use, which would probably push this ship past that 100k, and probably a lot more in fact. And I haven't got my weekly combat boost on from the Fleet Research Lab, I believe it is. And I'm not using any of... where are they? These things. No, not them things. They're the ground ones. Star-based combat boosts. I'm not using any of them. All I've got as in way of consumable is the energy amplifiers, which are standard. And for those of you that don't know, which is not many of you, they come from the Beam R&D school here, and they're better than these. These increase the amount of power. These put back power into your weapon system as your weapon system consumes that power, but they don't increase the strength of your weapons. These, they don't add power to your weapon system, but they do increase the strength of each shot. So this gives you more strong shots, whereas this gives you the same amount of strong shots, but they're stronger. Does that make sense? So for example, if you were firing 8 shots in a 10-second period, this will give you another 2 shots. Whereas this would make those 8 shots 1/5 more powerful each. Something like that. Come on, Khitomer, you're taking your time today. You weren't earlier. I've already played 2 matches today. Or was it 3? I am not going into Hive. I died 5 times in that. Ripping cubes apart, yes, but dying as well. A quick pop to Earth space dock. Where we started in Sherman system. Quick pop to there. K7. Okay. Not now. I like to fly away from the crowd because a lot of them have team buffs on that. When I look at my stat numbers, they might be slightly different because somebody's buffing the crowd. I like to see what they're like on my own. My god, I might have to queue for something else if Khitomer's not going to pop. I suppose I could put on Cure as well, we'll see. That doubles the chance of something popping, but I'm not going to do Hive because I'll only end up embarrassing myself. Because I can never see what's going on in that map, because things blow apart all the time and you're stuck in the middle of it all and you're just firing hoping you'll hit something. Not knowing what, because there's too much mess on the screen. Cure! I'm not going to do the combat meter in this because there's no real need. We've already done it once. This does sometimes get a bit squishy if it goes after a cube on its own. Oh look, one of those new Klingon ships. And the big Enterprise ship. Okay, I'll go this way then. Hang on a minute, hang on. Hold your horses. See what I mean? I went straight for that torpedo by mistake. But then that torpedo probably would have killed me. No damage. Well, no damage except total death. That proves my point. This ship's damn squishy. Oh, better save the... What do you call it? Oh, there's a sphere. Hang on a minute. Oh, I'm getting confused now. My buttons aren't clicking straight away. I think it's because I'm spacebar spamming too much. Oh, I should have gone after that Kang. I'm so confused this morning. This is why I don't normally make... Well, I never used to make spoken word videos. Because people understood me much more when I just moused over the target. Already? That's been happening every match this morning. The 3 ships have just been gone in an instant. And I can't claim responsibility for that. And maybe it's a powerful ship, but it's not that powerful. Anyway, I think I'm still going to queue for a Khitomer just in case it pops. Drink a glass of water. I do know this is a very popular build. I mean, when I did my silent video before, it got a lot of views. So this is a very popular build that people use. That's why it got a lot of views. They wanted to see my take on this popular build. But my take was just bullshit, really. So come on, Khitomer, please pop. I suppose I could head towards Japori. And if Khitomer pops while I'm in there, I can abandon Japori. Where is it? There it is. When I look at this build, I see that it's out of date and that I've done it slightly wrong. But I also see there are ways where I could improve it. I think I would take off Orcs to Bat and not have it so dependent on science exotics, because I don't have any exotic skills. That would give, and if I got it not so dependent on Orcs to Bat, I can sacrifice auxiliary power then in order to get more survivability and speed. But that's just a first thoughts. I would also probably use recursive shearing 2. No, I'd probably go down to recursive shearing 1 and so that I could put on rapid fire 3. To replace the Orcs to Bat, I'd move this over to here so I could get emergency powder weapons free. I'd put reverse shield polarity on and engineering team on one of these. And probably, what is it, structural integrity collapse or something like that. I'd get rid of destabilizing beam and just put hazard emitters here and science team. I might give that a go at some point. But not right now. It will take too long to figure out. But if we can't get a Khitomer, we'll get a Japori. Whoa, more rubber banding. Now if Khitomer pops while I'm in here, I'll abandon this match and go for Khitomer. Turn. I can imagine people saying, "You've got to be the worst pilot I've ever seen." And they're probably right. A pilot that favours loot over D.P.S. You see the up close and personal trait, I haven't been taking advantage of it. Where's that tank one? There it is. He's gone in. He's gone in less than what, 2.5 seconds? A second, maybe? Trying to push me out of combat, Stinger. I'm not even moving. Can't use my engines against me. Shields. Got nothing to heal my shields with. Hey, he's still there. Oh, it's a drone. Still no Khitomer. What's up with Khitomer? It should have popped by now. Even on a slow day. Well, let's try Beta Forwardor in the meantime. See what happens. Klingons are a bit tougher. I'm using up my energy amplifiers. Ugh. But at least you're getting a good view of this ship. A bit more matches than I normally play. Khitomer! Sorry, not Khitomer. Beta Forwardor. It's a good day to die for the Klingons. Ah, Khitomer! Forget the Klingons. We've got Khitomer. I'm not going to bother D.P.S-ing it because there's no need in Khitomer. I mean, I'm recording the D.P.S with the combat meter. That ISA was enough, and I might push my luck if I try doing D.P.S again. I was so lucky to survive it. But then again, since I pulled this out, it's been about several months to a year since I last used this ship, and since I started using it again the last couple of days, I've done about 5 ISAs, maybe. And maybe I just got unlucky with some of them. Although this ship has been performing well here in Khitomer, even though we've lost the optional a few times and I have died in it. But I usually just go for the big targets in this ship because I haven't got time to chase around the little ones with such a slow ship. Let the turret take care of that. Here comes the cube. Target up. Oh, no one's going after the ships. No one came this side. I'm on my own. Oh well. We're going to lose optional. I don't care. Oh, it looks like someone took care of those ships. So I don't have to. I'm not up close and personal, damn. I keep forgetting to do that. Hey, get that beam off of me. Here comes the big one. Target him, come on. What the hell? That was lag? I swear the game tries to kill me sometimes. Oh, oh, oh. Get them. They see a Husnock and they think, oh, he must be D.P.S guy, we'll leave him to it. I'm not! I'm very squishy, guys. Some understand that though, they do send you a heal. Probably the ones who've flown it before. How can I get the gate quick? Get in there, up close and personal, remember. I might be sacrificing the optional. And there we go, I did sacrifice. I thought I could solo the side. Oh well, we've lost optional. Damage? None. That's gonna get some thumbs down. Come on, come on, come on, get in there quick, quick, quick. Quick, quick, quick. Bloody hell! Bloody hell, talk about piss poor sloppy flying, but maybe. Come on, just do it right. There, soloed! And didn't ruin the optional in the process. Soloed the right side. Soloed the right side before the team finished. Before 4 people finished the left side. And almost ruined the optional, but not quite. Managed to save it. Had a death as well. I must be waking up a bit. My play's still sloppy, but I'm waking up a bit compared to what I was earlier. I told you this ship could perform in Khitomer. More so than anywhere else. Now the bit where it stops performing. Against Donatra. Better give one of them. Remodulate. And is that thing still in place where you get within 5 kilometers she cloaks? Or did they remove that? Someone once said to me they removed that. Gotta watch it, sometimes these asteroids get in the way. Stop moving her out of my firing arc! Come on, watch your pushback and the control effects, guys. Save that for other matches. I didn't mean that. I often do the pushbacks and things. So that was a good way to end the video. I'm actually pleased with this ship now instead of ragging on it. I went from starting off with a very low opinion, and it climbed and climbed and climbed until I got woohoo! I soloed the right side in Khitomer. I've not often had the chance to do that. And you saw it live here on, well, not live, but here on this recording. And you can hear the joy in my voice. The happiness that I was actually able to show off this ship that I'm just not good with. And I was actually able to turn my opinion around. So, let's go back to where we started, because it's always nice and a bit OCD of me to want to end where I started off. And forget Beta Foldor, the Klingons get a reprieve today because there was a bigger threat, the Borg. I like K7. Anything to do with the original series. And what's that week called? Tedra, Tridali or something? I don't know. Looks like it's got a big square office block on the top where the elite power live and all the lower decks crew live beneath them. Anyway, let's give a quick recap of what the build was. Now that's the end of the video. We had Coalition Disruptors, the Terran Task Force Reputation Weapon, Draenor Colony Deflector, 2 pieces of the Nukara that when together give a 5% energy bonus, the Terran Warp Core, Coalition Turret, Biomolecular Turret with its console that increases its biomolecular incubation, increases its germy effect. And the console itself gives disruptor damage. We've got the Lobie-Store console, the not the Anorak, but the other Kremen ship. Timeline stabilizer from a Q anniversary event, I believe it was. The console from the Mirador ship, the Husnock sister ship, the Mirador radar, and the console from the Husnock itself, and they give a nice hull penetration and some sciencey stuff. The 2-piece DPRM set for the extra disruptor damage, and Cryptastics. So yes, this ship is extremely squishy, as I keep emphasizing, but it's got some serious ass firepower on it, especially if it was being flown by someone who knew what they were doing, which is not me. Wow, that Khitomer took up a few energy amplifiers, but worth it. Soloed the right side! Anyway, this is all Lexington. Can I go to sleep now, please? Thank you for watching. Please like. Please subscribe. If you want to take the piss out of me, then please share. But most importantly, I would like to see any comments you may have, because you never know, you might have something nice to say that can help me improve my build. and I always tend to give comments a thumbs up if I like them, or even reply to some of them. So this is Alt Lexington signing off after the Husnock Warship, saying rapid fire rules. Bye.